Yeah, welcome to the game. It's time to ride. Truth on the court, ball don't lie. High stakes, hot takes, stats that fly. Tune in now, we keep it real, no alibi.
Welcome everybody to Ball Don't Lie. I'm KT. This is my host.
It's your boy TV's. How you all doing?
And boy, I'm excited. I know my boy TJ excited. This is our first episode. Something that we're getting new here, so guys, sorry guys, they've been kind of a little shaky. But man, this is gonna be our first pilot. It's just gonna be a yap session. We just got a lot of things in our mind, a lot of things we want to talk about, a lot of sports things that's been happening. We have a game that's still continuing with the OKC Thunder, with the versus the Nuggets. So we're gonna talk about that, kinda, because it's kind of a blowout. But in the day, we're gonna get into some topics about the NBA. So what you think about this? Oh, my bad. First of all, like, subscribe, go to Ball Don't Lie, go to our main Instagram page, look us up, please support us, we will love it. We're gonna post every 2 weeks and every month.
Yeah.
So,
Got a lot of good content in store for you all. So.
Absolutely, click that notification button, please. So, let's talk about some NBA since that's the main thing that's been going on lately.
Yes, sir.
So, of course, the Boston Celtics, man. The Boston Celtics for the New York Knicks. New York Knicks making it into the Eastern Conference Finals for 25 years.
25 years.
25 years since 1999, since the lockout year. The last time that team was Latrell Sprewell, was Patrick Ewing, was Larry Johnson. That was the last time.
The
greats, man. So, man, what you think? What you think about Jalen Brunson? Because I know you had a lot of thoughts about him because he's been killing it. He's been playing solid, but in fourth quarter, he's clutch. What do you think about Jalen Brunson?
First and foremost, my hat goes off to the New York Knicks. Tough defensive effort. Boston Celtics, they were one of the highest three-point shooting teams in the league in the regular season. And for New York to come out and really put the clamps on them, first and foremost, also, it's just been a great series. Thank you, Adam Silver, for telling the refs to, put their basically their whistles down their throat and just let these guys play hard-nosed basketball. So it's been exciting to see. I think Jalen Brunson has shown us that he's a superstar.
Man, I mean, to me, Jalen Brunson solidified he's a top 10, top 8 player in this league. Definitely a top 3 guard in this league. To me, I think when it comes to the end of the day with Boston and why it kind of into this predicament that we kind of see here right now is because the three-point shooting, man. You can't follow that philosophy, that same philosophy of three and gun, run and gun with a playoff team like the New York Knicks, who's physical, who goes inside out, who likes to attack, who likes to draw fouls. You got Brunson, you got Mikal Bridges, who likes to work in the mid-range. You got Cat, who's been physical, and that Cat narrative saying he's soft.
Oh, man.
That's out the picture.
Out the picture.
Let's
talk about that. I mean, the Mikal Bridges' impact. The guy's averaging 14.7 points. He also had a 34-point performance in Game 2.
Yes.
I mean, the guy has been, excellent for New York down the stretch. And then also, like you said, Cat. Cat coming over from Minnesota. He's been a key player over there. I've always liked Cat's game. I always liked his game. He's been a great fit over there. I did not foresee this. Did you foresee this?
No one perceived this. I mean, I think the Knicks were like the computer ultimate underdogs. Like everybody was picking the Celtics simply because the Celtics are like the standard barrier when it comes to these 2.5 years come to the regular season, especially dominating the regular season, winning the championship last year. Tatum and Brown looked like one of the best wing combinations in a while, with Porzingis, with Derek White, with Drew Holiday. You have the flexibility. You have the 6th man of the year, Peyton Pritchard, coming off the bench. So, yeah, I mean, New York Knicks, they done their job. I mean, the New York Knicks exposed a lot of things when it comes to the Boston Celtics. Allow them to shoot, pressure Tatum, pressure Brown, let Brown be the main facilitator in the guard, and allow Tatum to shoot, which, by the way, thoughts and prayers go out to Jason Tatum with the ruptured Achilles. I know he was having his best game. He was a 44-point game. Was killing them in the Madison Square Garden. Even though they were about to lose, you could tell Tatum was carrying the back of that team. But before we move on to the series and go what you see for the Pacers and Knicks. What do you think Boston's gonna do? What do you think that's gonna look at this? Because this is gonna be the last time you're gonna see Al Horford. We're gonna see the last time you see Drew Holiday. What you gonna see with this team?
I don't know. I mean, I trust the front office in Boston. They have shown that they can put key pieces around Tatum. So I feel like going forward, Boston's going to be in it. They're still a relatively young team without Horford. But, you know, I don't know. I still see a championship in their near future in the next 2 to 3 years. They're always going to be in it, in my eyes.
Yeah, I hate to say this, but Kristaps Porzingis, I don't know what's going on with you, buddy. That was trash. Trash.
I agree.
If we, you know what, later when we adapt to this podcast, we're gonna have trash or ass segment. Kristaps Porzingis, you might be the first contributor of the trash or ass player because my God, sir, you are awful. There was one possession that really ticked me off. Porzingis had a low post, low post range. You have Jalen Brunson on you. Jalen Brunson literally took the ball out of his hands on the low post, on the block. When they need you, you have Porzingis, the first couple of games, he's only been averaging 15 minutes, 6 points. Like, the percentages, I'm going to look it up later on today, but percentages were probably awful. Porzingis, listen, loved him, loved what he did.
Yeah.
But with the Knicks, I love he rebuilt his career, but coming off the Dallas Mavericks. But, buddy, it might be time to call up to retirement because, sir, that's ridiculous.
We might have to take that nickname back. What do they call him? The Unicorn?
The Unicorn.
I don't know. I'm not seeing Unicorn-ish.
More like, I don't want to say it.
I don't know. The guy from his size standpoint and skill set, we expect more.
7'4",
Yeah.
3-level scorer.
Correct.
Gives you this production.
Yeah.
No, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's enough for the Celtics. I want to give a lot of love to the Knicks because they deserve it. But this is the rivalry of pretty much of a lot of legacy, a lot of history is the Knicks and Pacers. Going back to the days of Reggie Miller, going back to the days of Patrick Ewing, when they met East Conference Finals or the second round. Many a times, and the Pacers in history have won a lot of upper hands, and the Pacers have really had a lot of momentum with Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah.
Especially, he's shown up a lot. Especially when he heard he won, his peers called him the most overrated player in the NBA.
I saw that.
Wow, ridiculous. I think Tyrese Halliburton is probably the most underrated. And today, currently, he's solidified. He's definitely a top 20 player. He's definitely one of the best point guards. And he's definitely a guy that can take you a lot during the playoffs.
I'd say this. I mean, he's one of those true old school throwback like point guards, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, the guy's averaging. He's joined the likes of Magic Johnson,
Yes.
John Stockton,
Yes.
as far as averaging 11.8 assists per
Yes.
game. I mean, that's crazy.
Yes.
So he's a true floor general. We haven't really seen the likes of that since maybe the Steve Nash days, the
Jason Kidd,
and then Chris Paul, right?
Hell, even Darren Williams. You heard Darren Williams?
Correct. So, to hate on that man's game, I think that the kid is great at what he does. He's definitely great for the Pacers, and I foresee them continuing to move like this in the near future.
Absolutely. So, by saying this, who you think is gonna win this series, man? I think this is gonna be a close series. I think this is the two teams that really are equally matched. The only thing I give the hands up to the Pacers, the depth.
Yeah.
When you have so much wing players, when you have Aaron Nesmith, we have definitely when you have I'm sorry, I forget his name. Not Julius, sorry. Nembhard. You have Andrew Nembhard.
Yeah.
You have Miles Turner. You have a lot of people. Obi
Pascal.
Toppin, Pascal.
Yep.
Benner Mathurin.
Correct.
You have so many wing depth, and what they do is they like to pace and space. They play fast, and the Knicks, they're not a play fast team. They like to set their offense. They like to go with Brunson, go and get his spots, the high pick and mid-range shot. They like to pick and pop with Cat. They like to give and go with Brunson and Hart.
Yeah.
And I just think, and Anunoby, he just gets it off offensive rebounds. He just gets it when he gets it. But the Pacers, I just think they kind of have an advantage. I do think the Knicks' defense gives them a clear, and physicality kind of gives them a clear advantage when it comes to rebounding and physical play. But when it comes to percentages and who can make timely buckets, the Pacers have shown against a Cleveland Cavaliers team. Granted, they were hurt with their 3 All-Stars, with Evan Mobley and Darius Garland, who has a stump toe, and Donovan Mitchell, who's playing with one leg out there. But the Pacers, they really just ran them out the building. So, who do you think has a key advantage here?
I'm going with New York in this series. You know, I do like the fact that they slow down their offense and run it through Bronson and Cat. But I think the physicality is really going to come in and play a part on the Pacers. I think Bronson is going to be the guy that basically is the star of the series. He has to show up. Him and Cat have to show up, and then the rest of the team have to show up around him. But I don't know if the Pacers are ready for this type of physicality. I think they have a big man.
I think Miles Turner. I think Miles Turner can do it though. I think Miles Turner is very physical. Yes, he's a pop. He's a big who likes to shoot the threes. But what I saw, Miles Turner was bullying the hell out of Jared Allen. Jared Allen had no answers for Miles Turner.
I haven't seen that happen very often.
Yeah,
I haven't seen that happen very often. But I mean, and shout out to Miles Turner. He's a UT guy. Hook him all day.
So is Jared Allen.
Jared Allen is a UT guy. You're right.
Yes.
Yeah, hook him. But yeah, I'm going with the Knicks. I do want to see the Knicks in the finals. I think America wants to see the Knicks in the finals. I think that'd be awesome.
This is the first time here I'm actually going for the Knicks.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm with you.
I love it. So, man. So I know the game's continuing, but as I look up
Hold on, real quick. You gotta. So you're gonna go with the Knicks as well, right? Or are you going with Indiana?
Right now, I'm gonna go with the Knicks.
Okay. And how many?
7.
7. I'm taking Knicks in 6.
Really?
Taking Knicks in 6.
The reason I say 7 because the Pacers, when they at home, whole different team.
I believe it.
Whole different team with the Pacers at home. So for that, I would say the Knicks have a disadvantage when they play away because the Knicks can show right what they did at Boston, coming from a 26-point lead deficit and come back and beat Boston not once, twice at the TD Garden. Yeah, they can do it. But the Pacers, when it comes to something with that Pacers and that audience, that attitude with those people, they want to see them boys win. They want to see the boys win the championship with Tyrese Halliburton. So I just think the Pacers, they just have a clear home advantage at home for me when it comes to the Pacers. So I'm going to say Pacers going to win a lot of their home games. That's why I have 7 games.
This is exciting time in NBA basketball because I feel like right now it's wide open.
We're in the parity league.
Correct.
There's no dynasties no more.
No. But can you imagine right now in 2025? I guess what? Yeah. So that'd be 20. Can you imagine the Knicks being the NBA champion? Like what we would hear and what that would look like.
Madison Square Garden is gonna shut down.
Yeah.
Oh my God. You know,
it's the Mecca. It's the Mecca. So I would love to see that. I think New York would love to see that. I think America would love to see that.
They were going crazy and just winning Eastern Conference like the second round.
Yeah.
So
there used to be, in your words, trash.
It's trash. So congratulations to the Knicks. Congratulations to the Pacers.
Congrats.
Let's see how it goes. Let's talk about this next series that's coming up. I know it's to be determined, but it seems like OKC has it in the bag. It's 97-72, 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. The Nuggets just gassed out. Caruso was the MVP of that game. So did with J-Dub, Jalen Williams. Dude that already had 21 points. Dude's back basically showing that he can be a co-star with Shea. So with this Thunder roster basically advancing, we're going to see Shea versus Ant, man.
Yeah, that's going to be a good one.
Shea versus Ant. This is the two top, hey, who can be the face of the league?
Correct.
You got right now you got the current MVP who's going to win the MVP, Shea Alexander. You got the young, up-and-coming, already a superstar, but maybe facing the league at Anthony Edwards.
One of my favorite players.
Man, one of my favorite players too. But man, what you think about this series? Timberwolves versus Thunder.
I think it's going to be an exciting series to see Ant-Man really just lead this team. It's going to be nice. The young guns that you have over there at OKC.
Yeah.
It's been crazy to see how Pressy and them boys have put this team together.
Yeah.
But these young guns, they're really coming up and showing you. I think OKC is going to actually win this series. I think they're just too deep. But also, you know, Ant-Man's been averaging 28.5 and
Yeah.
6.2 rebounds in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I mean,
He has been struggling when it comes to shooting.
Correct.
But when it comes to penetrating and getting his spots, he's been doing that well, which 2 years ago he couldn't do.
Yep.
But now you can see maturity. Now you can see him actually making the actual scene of, like, when he gets trapped, he's getting out of that play. He's passing it to DiVincenzo.
Yeah.
He's passing it to Nikhil Walker-Alexander. He's passing to who's been probably the best player in the Warriors series, Julius Randle. Julius Randle has shut down a lot of their. Granted, I will say this: a lot of players play well with 1 year guaranteed their contract, so they're playing with that contract maximum level money. But to say that he hasn't exceeded everybody's expectations, balling. You could argue that he's been the best player so far during the playoffs.
I agree. We didn't expect to see this out of Julius, but he's been shooting the three well. And not known to shoot the three very well.
No.
You know, he's been playing great defense.
Yes.
And also keep in mind, you know, Minnesota, they was ranked number 1 defensively in the regular season.
Yes, sir.
So they're going to need that. They're going to need that type of defensive intensity to come in to this series and really just do their thing against OKC.
You just sparked something in my mind when you say the Timberwolves are the number 1 defensive player, like, team in the league. OKC's the number 2 defensive team in the league.
Oh wow!
So you're gonna see a lot. You're gonna see a lot of defensive, like, the intensity with these two teams playing together. You're gonna see this is gonna be a grinded out game. You thought the Nuggets, OKC Thunder was gonna be a grinded out game.
Mm-hmm.
No, T-Wolves and OKC is gonna be a long grinded out game as well.
I'm here for it.
I think
I'm
that
here for it.
to me, the biggest X factor to me when it comes to how OKC can expose the Rudy Gobert issue, which is Rudy has been comfortable these playoffs. He has been comfortable. He doesn't have to really worry about the other defenders because he's been playing with a lot of small guys, which I give Rudy credit. He's been doing pretty well. He's been doing pretty well when it comes to switches. He's been doing pretty well when it comes to the drop passes because the narrative has been known for Rudy Gobert. He struggles with small ball lineups. Rudy Gobert has changed that. He's actually putting, hey, I'm 7 foot. I can actually dunk and actually dominate in the paint, which he has. Of course, with your Lakers, he had the 27-22 game looking like Will Chamberlain, and he showed a lot in the Warriors series, actually being an actual scorer, like actually scoring. So, but I think Chet, Holmgren, and Hartenstein have to answer. They're gonna have to answer with saying, hey, we got to control the board. We can't let Rudy Gobert be comfortable. We can't let Naz Reid, Mr. Fourth Quarter, Naz Reid, who's been the most lethal fourth quarter guy. I think Naz Reid has only missed like 5 shots in total in the fourth quarter. Naz Reid is that guy. But they're gonna have to force Rudy Gobert in foul trouble to get Naz Reid out of there because you want Naz Reid to play as most minutes as possible because with Rudy Gobert being the disruptor defensively, you want as much lane and more penetrating with Shea, with J-Dub, with Caruso. You want a lot of that inside game with Rudy Gobert out there because Naz is a really good defender. He doesn't have a lot of interior defensive presence as Rudy Gobert. So that's the key contributor. It's the two bigs with OKC, Chet, and Hartenstein. So
you make a lot of great points there, man. I think, Rudy has been the 2-time defensive player of the year.
4 times.
4 times. Excuse me. So
4 times.
With him being a 4-time defensive player of the year, I mean, they really have to take him serious.
Yes.
I think he's going to be able to defend the paint. But it's going to be an interesting series. I like Chet's game, his inside-outside game. I think he is going to be a menace to deal with for Rudy. But we will see. Like I said, I'm going with OKC. I'm going to say OKC in 6.
I'm going to say Timberwolves.
You going with Timberwolves? What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, to me, I just think this is I know OKC has the defensive presence with the wing defense of Caruso, J-Dub. Of course, you got Aaron Wiggins who can come off and give you a quick couple of threes. You got Shea, you got Hartenstein, you got Jaden Williams, you got Chet. But to me, I just think that Timberwolves, the cohesive presence. They know what they are, and they don't force to be not what they are. I think the Nuggets, that's what kind of exposed with the Nuggets. They tried to do so many things, and it just didn't work out their favor because their bench presence is not there. They played Russell Wilson so many times, and it kind of killed them. Same thing with my thing with Christian Braun. Christian Braun's a good defender, but he struggled with the series with the Thunder. I think that the role players in Timberwolves know what they are, and they don't do too much. They know what they're supposed to do. They play great defense. They make their shots. They do a lot of great things when it comes to spacing the floor with Ant, so Ant could get to his spots, to get to his space. Same thing with Julius Randle, and I think Julius Randle is going to really. I think he's gonna kill Chet.
You think he's gonna?
When it comes to spacing. I think when it comes to attacking, I think he's going to put Chet in blender. I think Chet has he's done great things defensively in the interior, but when it comes to spacing, I saw a lot of question marks with Chet's performance, especially against guys like Aaron Gordon. Especially Aaron Gordon 6'8".
Yeah.
He struggles with a lot of stocky bigs. And knowing that Aaron Gordon is a good scorer, but not an amazing scorer, Julius Randle's a really good next level scorer. I think Chet's going to struggle. But I think that's the X factor. I think it's Julius.
That's a great point that you're making. Minnesota, and you know what? I think it really clicked in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like they know who they are.
Yeah.
Like I saw that sense of, knowing who we are, basically knowing that this is how we're going to play the game, this is how we're going to win.
Yeah.
I've seen that click for them actually when it started against the Lakers.
Absolutely.
And they've been playing great ball ever since. And you're right. Chet does struggle with strong body bigs. He hasn't gotten his man body yet.
I don't think I hope he'll get there because dude's 7'2", a sweating buck, like 195. If that. But I just think the Timberwolves have that type of advantage. I do think that the Thunder are physical, but they're more a finesse team. I think that Shea is going to be very reliant on his scoring. I do kind of trust Jalen Williams, but I trust the cohesion and the co-stars and the role players a little bit more with the Timberwolves. I know it's kind of crazy. I know when people see this, like, oh, he said the Timberwolves? Yeah, I say the Timberwolves because I think they showed them, even though they had an easier path because the injuries with the Warriors, of course, the Lakers, they just got together. JJ Redick not playing Jackson Hayes, I understand that, but I think the Warriors know what they are.
Yes.
So, basically, yeah.
I mean, they're there for a reason, so, it's your pick, but I'm OKC the 6.
We're going to see Akini Crow.
We're going to see.
Akini Crow. Quick little trip. Little tidbit with the NBA lottery. Of course, we all know what happened with Mr. Nico Harrison himself, Mr. I trade my superstar player because I think he's fat and out of shape, or maybe that's the owner. We don't know the full story. It seems like everybody's throwing everybody under the train, but it doesn't seem like it for the next couple of months when they're gonna draft Cooper Flag with this next pick, man. Number 1 pick overall, Dallas Mavericks. Shocking.
It's great. I think it's great for basketball. I think it's great for the city of Dallas. I think it's going to be great for America. I read an article about this the other day with Cooper Flag. He was the best player in college basketball for Duke. But to draft a, historically great white American, number 1 here in Texas. The advertisements, the deals.
Dallas is going to be.
Oh man, it's going to be jumping out there. He gets to play with AD. He gets to play with Kyrie.
When he gets healthy,
especially when they get healthy. I think they're going to make a nice little run, but I think they have a nice 3-4 year window with AD and Kyrie to bring Cooper along before he becomes the guy.
To me, I love that the fans of Dallas finally, they can cheer for something, especially with the trade for Luka. As you saw, they had funerals for Luka. As you saw, they were crying. I would be hurt too. Arguably one of the greatest franchise players ever with Dirk Nowitzki got traded. No offense to AD, but a player who's been injury prone for the past 6 years. I love AD, but AD is not the same caliber player as Luka, nor he's not the same floor raiser as he used to be with kind of prime Luka if Luka stays healthy and gets in shape. But besides that, I hate the fact the Dallas Mavericks were rewarded by doing the most stupidest trade, and they rewarded by that, and Nico gets to escape that because now everybody's gonna be in a good hands because now they're gonna get Cooper Flag. I hate that. Nico Harrison should still be in the hot seat because the fact you allowed that trade to happen, you didn't talk to anybody else with the Luka trade, and you were talking to Rob Pelinka and saying, hey, Rob Pelinka told 2 weeks ago, hey, would it be funny if we traded AD for Luka? Yeah.
Sounds like you think that this lottery is rigged a little bit.
I do think it's rigged. I do think it's rigged. I do think, because I have the numbers right here, T. I have it right here. The Dallas Mavericks were a 1.8% favorite to get not just a number 1 pick, a top 3 pick.
Wow.
Top 3 pick. So not only they jumped teams like the Jazz, who were 14%, the Wizards, who were 14%, the Hornets, who were 14%, the Pelicans, who were 12.5% in the top 3, right? Then you have the 76ers. They made the trade to get that top 5 pick. So it makes the Nets, the Raptors, the Spurs, right? So the fact that they jumped ahead of those teams to get the number 1 pick, I understand they say where the ball lies, where the coin flip lies, is basically based off of luck. It's basically based off of randomizing the numbers. I call bull. We have history. We have a lot of history. We have when the Hornets, the New Orleans Hornets, when they finally came back to New Orleans, but when they came back to the New Orleans Pelicans, when they traded Chris Paul, who got the number 1 pick to get Anthony Davis? The New Orleans Pelicans. Yep. Who got the number 1 pick for randomly to get Zion Williamson? Pelicans. And these teams weren't the worst teams in the league. They weren't.
Nope.
They were not. So my thing is, does tanking even matter? Because if I don't have the worst record, if I don't say, hey, if I get all these draft calories, right, all these draft picks, future, present-wise, and I don't get my rewarded fruits of my labor to say, hey, my team's ass, I'm trying to rebuild for a young star, I got all these young pieces, but there's nothing to show for it. Granted, they need to draft better because OKC has showed you, if you can draft better, if you make the right trades, you can do it. But I think, to me, the NBA just hates small market teams. They hate their small market. Look at the Jazz, small market Wizards, small market Hornets, small market.
Nobody wants to see Utah play.
But you saw how they were bumping with Donovan Mitchell, Gobert. They were the Jazz were one of the best hometown teams there when the Jazz were at their peak with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert.
We heard about it, but nobody wanted to watch Utah. And you know what? This goes hand in hand with just life, right?
Right.
They tell us to work hard in life. They tell us to go to college,
Right.
get an education.
Right.
Sometimes the shit just is not. It doesn't work out. It doesn't work in your favor.
Right. I understand.
It just doesn't go your way. With that being said, this is what happened in the draft lottery.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Exactly what happened in the draft lottery. So, you know, congrats to the Mavericks. I'm looking forward to seeing Cooper out there with AD and Kyrie. I think it's going to be showtime. It's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're going to see if they're going to put the league on notice.
Quick tidbit before we move to the NFL, man. For these drafts, because we have some draft steals that we like from the NFL draft. You know, it's been a couple of weeks. We want to talk about it. Do you think the Spurs going to trade that second pick and not pick Dylan Harper and trade for possibly Giannis to the Bucks?
You know what? If you get Giannis, that's not a loss, right?
No.
But I do think, you know, a young Dylan Harper with his NBA DNA and pedigree, his dad played a long time ago with the Bulls.
That's true.
I think he'd be a great fit alongside Vic and what they're building out there.
Yeah, with De'Aaron Fox.
And De'Aaron Fox as well. I would love to see those 3 young guys play together. But, I mean, like I said, if you bring...
There's too many guards.
Yeah. I mean, if they're going to make it work, you got to make it work.
But when you have a guy like Dylan Harper, who has shown you he's not really, right now, in his prospect career, he's not a off-ball guard. Work because Stephen Castle is a genetic freak who can cut, space, play make, get oops, get transition plays off of defense. But you're kind of stunting his growth as well because you have so many guards. So how much minutes can you How many minutes? Devin Vassell's there. So how many minutes can you give with Devin Vassell and Harper now with Fox? Now it's too much. So I really think the Spurs gonna make this trade. I really think because one, they want in a win-now situation. Two, they want Vic to be their main center. They want Giannis to be their main contributor when it comes to playmaking, and they want another star with Vic and with De'Aaron. I do think it helps Milwaukee long term because you get a potential star player in Bryce Harper, and you get a key contributor or star role or potential all-star if he gets to there with Stephon Castle.
Yep.
And you can give Devin Vassell, who's a really good scorer, really good shooter. I really think it's a win-win for both teams. You get the upside with the younger prospects, and you get the talent now to win with Vic, with Giannis. I think it works for both.
I mean, you make a lot of sense from a schematic standpoint. That all makes sense. I'm a guy that likes to, bring in talent and let the cream rise to the top, right?
Yeah,
so I mean, if you did have Dylan Harper, then you also had Fox out there, and did as well with Castle.
Yeah.
I want to see how they all play together. Then I want to see at the end of the day what rotation all works well.
Okay, so you want to see a star. You want to see what it has on the court time.
Correct.
Before you make that trade.
Correct.
I understand that. But man, let's move on, man. Let's move on. This is the one I've been really looking forward to because we talked about this a lot during these 2 weeks. The NFL draft. The steals, this is where everybody geeks out because you get your favorite prospects, you get the guys you've been following since high school, you get the guys you've been looking through college, you get the dark horses that you want to see on your team or a perfect pick on the team. So man, I have a lot of guys on my team. You want me to go first?
Yeah, go ahead and start it off.
So I know I've been talking about this guy a lot. He's one of my favorite players. He didn't have a really good junior year because Missouri was trash offensively. Their quarterback play is Luther Burden. Luther Burden, wide receiver, 2nd round pick, 39th overall, to go to the Chicago Bears, wide receiver.
Nice.
Luther Burden. Now, the only thing I have a question with Chicago, and yes, they do have Ben Johnson, who's the mastermind of what the Detroit Lions did and what he got out of Jameson Williams, and what he got out of Jared Goff, and what he got out of Amon-Ra St. Brown, right? And Laporte, all of them. I do think that there could be too many cooks in the kitchen.
Okay.
Because, remember, 9th pick overall, 1st round, they drafted Colton Loveland out of Michigan, tight end.
Correct.
Colton Loveland, who's another kind of a gadget tight end, really 6'2", 230, tight end, really a wide receiver in the tight end spot. And you have Cole Kmet, you have Roman Doomsday as a wide receiver, you have DJ Moore.
Yep.
There's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. I think that kind of was the main issue for me last year when they had Keenan Allen and Roman Doomsday and DJ Moore and Cole Kmet, and you had enough, and plus you have enough time because their offensive line was really terrible.
Trash.
They did get Joe Tooney, who's an All-Pro center from the Chiefs, so that can help out a lot. But he's at age of 33, which is pretty good. But he's a short-term guy. I do like the pick because Luther Burden, with the value that he had, he's a 2nd-round guy who's supposed to be top 10, top 12 pick. The reason why he fell off the draft because his character was really challenged because he came out as a prima donna. Similar with Pickens, right? Prima donna, guy likes to get the ball, likes to get his stats. That's what his main thing in Missouri, which really, I haven't heard that type of issue his sophomore year when he was really going off. If I'm a wide receiver, if I'm supposed to be a top 10 pick and you're hurting my value because we're having a down year, like Luther Burden had 600 yards.
Wow.
Junior year. That's awful. And that's not him. That's credit to how bad the offense has been for the Missouri. Missouri was awful last year. The most overrated ranked team last year. They got stumped out Alabama. They got stumped out by Texas A&M. You remember that game? Yeah. Luther Burden, the value that he dropped here, getting to the Bears with Ben Johnson, I think this is a steal.
Definitely think it's a steal. Ben Johnson has already came in to this program and already cleaned up the offensive line. So I think Caleb's going to be better protected this upcoming year. he's basically putting together a scheme that's going to fit Caleb.
Yeah.
And you say that, you know, they have too many cooks in the kitchen. I think at the wideout position, you can never have too many. Like I said, just let the cream rise to the crop.
Yeah.
Let the cream rise to the crop. Put the guys out there, see what.
You're a slow and burn guy. You like slow and burn. You like to see where it gets you.
Correct. And you can't cover them all. You know,
Yeah,
the NFL right now, from an offensive standpoint, you know, it's catered towards the offenses. So
Yes.
put these guys out there, let Caleb do his thing. I think Luther is going to be a great addition to the team. Where he fits at, we'll see.
I think he's gonna be slant.
You think he's going to play the slot?
I think Rome Tuesday's gonna be outside. DJ Moore gonna be outside. I think he's gonna be gadget slant.
Okay.
Inside out guy.
And then also the tight end that you spoke of.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, he has to be the safety blanket. So I'm interested to see what this this Bears offense is going to look like this year, especially with Caleb back there.
If the Bears don't at least get a above 500 record, or if they at least don't get to a wild card spot, if Caleb Williams stops with this ball hero stuff and he just lets the offense come to him and settle down, he'll be fine. They'll be fine. But I think if Ben Johnson can do what Jared Goff, I think Caleb Williams can do it.
I believe so.
Yes,
And I think if they don't make the playoffs this year, I mean, Caleb still has one more
Stack
year.
division.
Yeah.
Stack division.
He has one more year to continue to establish himself and be that guy.
Absolutely.
So, you know, we'll see.
Yes,
We'll
sir.
see. His last year was not good for Caleb.
It was not. Yeah.
For me, I like the Green Bay Packers pick of the kid from Texas,
Matthew Golden.
Matthew Golden. Yes,
Wow.
I love that pick. Kid came out of Houston and then transferred over to Texas. Basically, that quarterback over there is going to be getting some help in the slot, like I said.
Yeah,
now
Jordan
they have some guys around Jordan that can actually get open. He needed that. You know, he's always going to need more offensive help. But to see that guy play at UT this year, he led them in receiving. I didn't know that he could run the way he ran. I think
4.2.
he ran a 4.2.
Yeah.
The kid's explosive. He's reliable.
Yeah.
He's tough. He's sturdy.
Yes.
So it's going to be real interesting to see how. And then, you know, he's coming from Texas.
Yeah.
So how does he adapt out there in Green Bay? Number one, and then number two, you know, what's that skill set going to look like at the next level?
Yeah, I think they need it because you know the Green Bay Packers, they exposed a lot of things last year, especially in the playoffs. They just don't have a good wide receiver cap room that they can ride on. I think Jordan Love's his most reliable receiver was Jalen Reed, and Jalen Reed is not your prototypical wide receiver. Christian Watson, you don't know when he's gonna come back. He's your number one, you know, down, you know, deep threat guy. He's been hurt. Denzel, you know, you got so many guys that doesn't have a lot of. They could be good contributors, but not true number one, number twos out of that room, other than you know Christian Watson. So getting a guy like Matthew Golden, they drafted another receiver too in a later round of the draft. You can tell that they're stacking up this offense. They're making sure that contract they gave Jordan Love, they make sure that contract is going to be worth every penny, because you know Jordan Love, he is a slinger.
Yes, he is.
He's going to give you 4 touchdowns. He's going to give you 3 interceptions. He's
He
going to
didn't
give you
live up
300.
to it last year.
Yeah.
He didn't live up to it last year. So
He did it. I bet he was injured.
He was
the game
injured.
opener, this Eagles game, he was injured. He couldn't play his leg. You can tell how off ball, how he kept, you know, throwing off his leg.
Correct.
But I do think a full healthy year with this team, with this young Packers team, 2 years in the playoffs, 2 straight years in the playoffs, really inexperienced. If they can get something out of this cohesive unit, they can get the matureness in Jordan Love, and you add a Matthew Golden and Christian Watson's healthy, and you get Jalen Reed, who's a really good 3, who's not a really good 2, who's not a really good 1, but he's in that perfect spot, the 3 spot.
Yeah.
I love it. And you got Josh Jacobs, who's
Josh Jacobs.
top three running back in the
Bell
league.
cow.
Bell cow.
Yeah.
Love it. Who I have here in my draft, I mean, you know I'm a Cowboys guy.
Oh man, you took mine.
Sharon Rebel, man. Rebel, who's your guy?
I was
like
thinking about the other kid from Texas that went in the 5th. I think he's a 5th or 6th round pick.
Jaden Blue.
Jaden Blue.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. We can both say ours. I had Sharon Rebel.
Okay.
East Carolina,
Mm-hmm.
defensive back.
Correct.
When I watched his tape, arguably, I thought he was the number 1 defensive back in the country.
Really?
Torn ACL.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why he fell in the 3rd round. He was supposed to be top 15-ish pick. I had him going to the 2nd round, my top number 1 pick, right around that range, the top 10 pick in the 2nd round. Surprised he fell down to 3rd round. Sharon Rebel can do it all. Playmaker. He is a press. He does well. He's physical press guy. This dude can play. He can play press, man-to-man, zone. Find the ball when he needs to. Deep threats. He already knows where the routes. He beats off your routes. This guy, Sharon Rebel, is probably one of the most dangerous defensive backs in collegiate sports with East Carolina. This guy is going to be something special when he gets fully healthy. My Dallas Cowboys have stolen this guy in the 3rd round. I love him, Deron Bland.
Yeah.
I love him with there because he does have the number 1 guy, Deron Bland. You already know he's a playmaker in his own right. So you got 2 playmakers, 2 ball hawks in that same space. I love him for the Cowboys. But Jaden Blue, go ahead, man.
Yeah. Just putting this guy in space. You know, the Cowboys offense, they need more explosive guys out there to be able to create these explosive plays and score touchdowns. I think Dak needs as much help as possible. So putting Jaden Blue out there, you can line him up in the slot. You can line him up in gadget plays. You can give him 10, 15 carries a game. The Cowboys need as much offensive help as possible. I think this kid is going to, he's going to be like the energizer, bunny in a sense, just putting juice into that offense. So I'm interested to see how Dallas uses him, and if they use him the right way. I think offensively Dallas is going to be all right.
Yeah. To make it quicker here, I have one more. I'm not sure you know him, T.
Okay,
Could
cool.
you know him? You could know him. Caleb Johnson from Iowa, running back.
Yeah.
Caleb Johnson, Iowa running back, going to Steelers, 3rd round pick, 86 overall. Caleb Johnson reminds me a lot of who we just talked about, Josh Jacobs. Physical bell cow. He gets that first gear not as fast when he tries to find a hole, tries to find that gap. When he finds that gap, 2nd gear, 3rd gear, he's off. Bell cow, physical, 6'1", 230 already. Big guy. He was great with the Iowa State. He had 16 touchdowns. He had damn near 2,000 yards, 6 yards per carry. Already a demon with the Iowa State Hawkeyes. I do love his contribution, what he can do with the Steelers as they lost Najee Harris.
Yeah, I saw that.
As they don't really have an offensive presence on quarterback. It's going to be Aaron Rodgers. He doesn't want to go on training camp. Let's just say that. Aaron Rodgers is going to be their quarterback. DK Metcalf. So you already know they're going to run the ball.
They have to.
They have to. Because right now, it looks like Will Howard or Mason Rudolph, and that's what you don't want throwing the ball. But if they do, Caleb Johnson is going to have a really good year, especially coming off against as a rookie. He's already experienced. He's already matured as a running back. I think he's the 2nd best running back. Yes, over Trayvon Henderson. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes, over Jukins. I do think he is the 2nd best behind Ashar Genty. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, first, I like that fit. 6'1", 230 out there in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
You know, nobody wants to tackle a big back like
No.
that in that type of weather. You know, back in my day when we played, nobody wanted to hit a guy like
Absolutely.
that. You know, so yeah, I'm interested to see how he picks up the offense. Number 1, because for running backs, it's about picking up the offense and then being able to block. You got to be able to protect Aaron Rodgers, and Mike Tomlin hadn't been able to do that.
Right.
So he hadn't secured that offensive line. So we will see.
Yeah. What's your last one, T?
I think my last one right now, I like Ahmad Hassan. He's a 6th round pick by Detroit Lions. I think that kid is going to go out there and, first and foremost, he has to make the team, but I think he's going to make the team.
I like him a lot.
But I think also Hassan, he's going to be on a mission.
Yes.
I think he was supposed to be a 2nd rounder.
Yes.
But there were some things that came into play that prevented him from going there. But Dan Campbell is a great coach. He sees talent. Picked this guy up in the 6th round, and I think Detroit, he's going to end up being a starter.
You want to talk about an energizer? You want to talk about a guy in the locker room? You want to talk about a guy who is not afraid to hit?
Yeah.
Yeah. And him and Branch, come on now.
Oh, man.
This is going to be crazy.
It is.
quick, first off, guys, I do have some honorable mentions as my steals. Malachi Starks with the Ravens, 21st pick, Georgia. I do have Mike Green with the Ravens. Ravens had a really good steal.
Okay.
I do have Will Johnson go to the Cardinals in Michigan, and I do have Donovan. I can never say his name. Boston College interior pass rusher. Donovan.
Okay, I can't say his name.
Donovan Easy. I'm gonna call him Big Donovan because he's gonna be our interior with Iggy Zoo. I can say Iggy Zoo's name, but I can't say his name. With Double O, I love that pick for the Dallas Cowboys. I love the Dallas Cowboys pick in general. This not the only story that came off in the draft. Of course, we have the main story, which was the Shadir Standard saga of him possibly falling to the top 5 pick. Oh, look, top 10 pick. No, wait, top 15 pick. Wait, what? Top 30? Yeah. Wait, now second round? No, wait, third round? Like, what are we doing here? So basically, I mean, we all heard the stories that his interviews didn't go well. I mean, you all heard with Dable. Dable just really threw a middle finger at him. Yeah. Dable trade up for that 21st pick, and he traded for that 21st pick, and he just first of all he has Jameis Winston, you have Russell Wilson, and he traded up to get the QB from Ole Miss, which is Jackson Dart. Which I don't hate Jackson Dart, but he's not an out-ready prospect, which I understand what they're doing. They're letting him rest. They're letting him get, see the game with Russell Wilson, with Jameis Winston. So he's going to sit down for 2-3 years if Dable's still there. Because, this is a guy that likes those type of big, stocky quarterbacks, has a big arm, not as big of an accuracy guy, similar to Daniel Jones. That's kind of Jackson Dart reminds me of. He is athletic, but you think about like 5 quarterbacks just coming off of Shadir Sanders before that.
I think Shadur learned a valuable lesson here, and I'm actually shocked that Dion actually didn't have that conversation with him. I mean, you have to be professional and dress and actually be ready for these jobs. I mean, he didn't prepare. So with that being said, I mean, the Giants were actually interested in drafting this kid.
They were.
Yeah, they were interested in actually taking him with the number what they had, the third pick.
Third pick.
Yeah, they wanted to take him within top 5, but
fifth.
Yeah, fifth. For him to go in there, man, and not take reading the offenses serious, not go in there and take the interview process serious. Right. I mean that's on him. That's on him thing. And
I think Dion has to have a piece of this too, because Dion, you were the one that openly stated that you do not want didn't openly state, but kind of hinted, you do not want your son to be with the Cleveland Browns. Yeah. You're not want your son to be the Cleveland Browns. You basically let say, hey son, don't worry about that. Your name value will be enough. Your gameplay will be enough. The media will like you enough because they liked you from Colorado, they liked you from Jackson State, and they'll say, hey, a team will take you in that top 10 range pick. And when you do that, when you allow your son to say that and say those type of things to purposely sabotage his projection to not go to specific type of teams, to try to go to Las Vegas Raiders, to try to go to the Saints, to try to go to the Steelers, this is not the NBA. It's not. This is not when you do that. This is the NFL. This is where shorter leashes come to the play here. And the fact that you did that, and the fact you allowed your son to do that, and I hope he learned his lesson.
Oh, he had to, because Shadur was definitely a first-round talent. Yeah. But this is what happens when you think you're above the system.
Yeah.
Everybody that is in that situation, they have to take their time and go through the process.
Absolutely.
Go through the process.
Absolutely. And granted, the Shadur trolling and the Shadur slander, do I say it was needed? No, it was not needed. Of course, the prank call from the Falcons defensive coach's son who called him and told him, hey, you want to play for the Saints, and prank call Shadur, which was recorded, by the way, with all his family members to see. That's the saddest thing I ever seen. that boy needs to be fine and never to be in a stadium ever again. That's very immature of him. Very immature of the Falcons organization to allow that to happen.
Yeah, for that information.
For that information to be out
right
there,
yeah.
and allow his phone to be out there.
Shador handled it well though.
Mature. He matured enough. He looked like poised. He didn't say anything out of pocket.
Mm-hmm.
I think Shador handled that very well. I think he's handled this draft.
I think he has
very well. You can tell he's motivated. You can tell that he wants to set the narrative that, hey, I'm not a nepo baby. I'm not a guy that's just based off of name value. I'm not a flash in the pan. I'm not a Johnny Manziel. I'm not none of these guys. I'm here to stay. I'm here to contribute. Granted, I am skeptical because what team he is in with the Cleveland Browns, and they got Dylan Gabriel, which they seem like they're high on Dylan Gabriel, and they got Joe Flacco. So I am kind of interested what the quarterback room, who's going to start. It kind of looks like a fire in the pan. It kind of seems like they don't know what to do because Deshaun Watson is not. I don't think Deshaun Watson is not going to play. He's not coming back.
He won't play at all this year. This is going to be another situation of the cream rising to the crop, right? They're going to play the best quarterback available to them that performs. I do think Shador will get an opportunity to start for them this year, but
I think it's Joe Flacco.
Keep in mind. I think Joe Flacco starts the year, but I think mid-season
you see
Shador. You'll see Dylan and maybe also Shador. But also with that being said, if Shador does not perform, keep in mind the Browns have a top pick again next year.
They absolutely do.
And guess what? If he does not perform, they will go draft a quarterback. They will go draft a quarterback.
Could it be an Archie Manning?
I think
very well.
Oh man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see Arch this year. But also, I believe with just the Manning pedigree and background, Arch will stay 2 years.
I do think so too.
I think he'll make sure he gets all the reps before he jumps into the NFL.
I think so too. But besides that, man, besides that, I got nothing else to say, man. I do think that when this comes to the situation, I do think that I hope Shador learns his lesson. I hope he has a competitive career. I hope he succeeds. I hope. And I hope that the Browns don't mess this up like you did with Baker, like you did with Deshaun. Even though Deshaun hurt himself, they didn't put Deshaun in a good predicament because Deshaun should have never been in this situation to begin with. You should have never given Deshaun that $300 million contract. So I pray to God that Shador does. He seems humble. He seems motivated. He seems ready. Happy for him. He finally made it to forgot his name.
Which one?
The other brother.
Oh, Shiloh.
Yeah.
He's
Shiloh goes to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
So congratulations to Shiloh. Congratulations to Sanders family. Congratulations to all these guys. Travis, Hunter, Carter, everybody, man. I can't wait to see this draft. This is going to be a really good not top heavy, but a really good draft. You can see next 5 to 3 years, you can see a lot of Pro Bowlers, maybe future Hall of Famers. And I'm ready for the NFL season, man. Let's get it.
Excited about it.
Yeah, but anyway, man, this has been Ball Don't Lie. I've been KT with my host, man, TJ. We've been out. Love y'all guys. Please like and subscribe. More content will be coming and appreciate it. Peace, man. Love you.